Hello, today I'll be talking about how to make this Nuno Felted scarf with elements of viscose paper, which look in this case a little bit more like mosaic, or it's like engraved in the body of your Nuno Felted scarf. So I'm going to talk about materials and give you all step-by-step instructions, and I hope you enjoy this. So now let's talk about materials. So for this project, we need, first of all, some, viscose paper. It's an important part of our project. I have a very detailed video about how to make this on my YouTube channel, Oksana Fiber Studio. So learn this first. It's not that complicated, easy to store, and you can actually mix different colors, the lighter and darker one, and whatever colors you want to mix, it makes it more interesting. And also for this project, we would need, of course, wool rowing because it's Nuno Felted scarf. My choice of colors was light gray, lighter white, slightly yellowish, and pure white. Also, I use naturally dyed, like with tea bag, very lightweighted silk for kind of base for the whole entire project. You need a net to cover your Nuno Felted project when you're working on it first. You'll see it on the video, and also you can use gloves or just plastic bag when you're working on the surface of Nuno Felted. Scissors to cut your shapes, old towel to dry and roll your project in it. Also, you would need the bottle water to spray water, this specific tool. But if you don't have it, you can use empty bottle with some holes on top of it, so the liquid can come through. And we spray in the liquid, which is warm water, with some soap, with some liquid dish soap. Preferably clear colors, so you don't want any additional colors on your project. At the last stages of your project, we'll be using the bar soap, which in this case I use olive oil bar because it's gentle on your hands, and it's actually really nice when you work with Nuno Felting, because it's helped to bind all these fibers very quickly. In this video, I would be using this tool, which is like a sanding machine, but I use it in very low speed. If you don't have it, you don't have to buy for this project. I use the plastic cutout shape just to help to fibers to bind better. But again, if you don't have it, don't worry, you can skip this step and try to do it all with your hands. And the important part of this project will be this plastic shelf paper, which has a little texture. This is from IKEA, and the width of it is very good for scarf, because remember, the scarf, when you finish it, it's going to shrink a lot. So think about this width will be much smaller, which is like probably 1/3 of it. I mean, 2/3 of it, because it shrinks, it's going to lose like 30%. And it's good to make the border even. It also helps you to turn your project on another side, because you'll see it in the video. So I would recommend to use that. So now all those, I think I have it all. So we can start the project. So working with the paper is easy because you can cut it any shape with scissors. And in this case, I'm choosing to cut it as leaves. Also, when you're placing the leaves next to each other, make sure you keep them in a good distance, because remember, wool would shrink and you have to give them a little space, like I would say about an inch in between. So after you lay all the motifs on the surface, try to work a composition of it, making sure the distance between them is an inch. Also, if you're using any bright colors, try to repeat them somewhere else. Using bigger size of the shape and the smaller one help to make your composition more interesting. So the next step will be spraying all your parts with water. So remember, the pieces are very light, so I'm spreading them on this plastic lining for the shelf, and when you spray them with water, they stick to it, so you can at least have some kind of secure placement for them. Now, after we spray those parts with water, we're gonna start applying wool rowing. So we separate the fibers so thin, so they almost look like transparent, like clouds. So, and we place those clouds over our motifs. So they have to be sprayed very light, but at the same time, you make sure that all the surface is covered. You see the edge of this plastic shelving piece was going to help us to keep our scarf in the proportions, but this is the end of the scarf, so we have to reinforce the sides of it with extra fiber. Again, don't put it too much lighter, but still a little bit more than you would put on covering the motifs. And again, make sure that all the surface covered evenly. You don't want any streaks of fiber. If you have some there, just take them and open them up, make them look more like clouds, so they cover more surface space everywhere, but still light, so you can see a motif through. Continue my scarf now without motifs, but I'm gonna take slightly different color of the wool rowing. So it's white, but it has slightly yellow shade into it. Again, I'm putting this, try to put it on the whole entire surface evenly as a cloud. So I'm opening up each fiber piece and putting it overlapping another one. So, and I would continue with another color, which is lighter, to the end of the scarf. So make sure you reinforce the sides of the scarf as you continue. And see, putting your fibers slightly different, so overlapping one another, a little more consistent than just the kind of clouds. We're gonna spray water over. Just be careful because everything is kind of light, and you know the fibers we put the way the clouds, they're very light, so we want to make them a little stable and have more connected to the surface. And after that, we'll be cover the whole entire scarf or parts of it if you don't have a long enough net. Just put it right over it. So now we're gonna spray some soapy water on your scarf. The water has to be warm, and I added some dish soap to it. Generous squirt of soap for 16-ounce bottle. And you'll see, because you'll see it's the water would come out with some bubbles in it, with the soap in it. So make sure you have enough water everywhere and distribute it evenly. The plastic bag, we're gonna start very gently working on surface of your scarf through the net. We're using the net because we don't want to move all your motifs, and nothing is settled yet, so you have to be very careful. So don't push too hard, and if you need to, hold with other hand and make sure you're not moving motifs from the placement. So start very gently and go over. You want to make sure that you get soap to every fiber in your scarf and it's pretty even, so the water gets right through it. We have to make sure that the border of your scarf is reinforced. See, I'm pulling in leveled with the end of your plastic base. Now we're going to cover the scarf with some silk. And silk in this case helps us to connect this viscose parts with wool, because wool penetrate right into silk, stretching from one side to other and really flattening out, make it even. We're gonna work with sanding machine, and if you don't have one, just work through the net again and use the soapy water to reinforce connection between silk and wool. Next step, to make a bundle with our scarf, and we use the plastic lining for where we put the actual scarf on, and we roll it and make it pretty tight bundle with the old towel. Roll it all the way, and then when we roll the ready bundle, do it like at least 100 times on each side to turn our scarf over. So we're going to use another piece of plastic lining, put it over it, roll it, and then turn it upside down, and very carefully remove that bottom plastic off the scarf, and just be careful because some elements may come over or come out. Now we have to reinforce all the parts which is not sitting well in the scarf, because remember we turn it upside down. So we're going to put it a little bit, again, this little clouds of the wool over whatever parts is coming out. Especially pay attention to the end of your motifs. They're more likely to come out. And but put the wool is very, very light. Don't make a big clumps of wool because you still want to see the motifs under it. Now we're going to cover our scarf with the net, organza net, and try to stretch it from one side to another, making sure all the details of your scarf are covered. We use the soapy water, warm soapy water, to cover the whole surface of your scarf. And now we're gonna again use the plastic bag and work. Be very careful again not to disturb too much the surface of your scarf. So if you have a sanding machine, we're going to work it on a very low speed, number 2, to connect all motifs with the wool. If not, then keep just working with plastic bag. It would probably just take a little longer. So now again, it's very convenient to have your project on this plastic, because you can move it anywhere you want to. And now I'm going to put it towel under it and form, and we're going to form the bundle, and try to make the bundle pretty tight. Now we're going to roll your bundle, and I add another dry towel on top. And as you see, I put my hands in the middle or on the side of my bundle. Now this is the scarf is not ready yet, but as you see, all the motifs are settled into the surface. So you have to air it out a little bit, and when you do that, the fibers combine even better. Now we're gonna finish the edges of the scarf. I previously cut it out in the shape of leaves, and I'm gonna apply some soap on the plastic with the texture, and I'm gonna finish the edge of my scarf. We're gonna repeat the same on other side of your scarf. So we're gonna apply some soap, the olive oil soap bar. Again, making those edges more even and closing off the edge of the scarf. Make sure you wash your whole entire project by the end in the warm water, and get rid of any soap which left there. And enjoy. I hope you like your scarf.